like to spend some time with you now as you're considering making a transition from your life as a student into the very first steps in pursuing your career path. I'm going to tell you some things now that are going to change your life if you will embrace everything that I share with you. So before you start buying all sorts of books and reading all sorts of materials and go into all sorts of other clinics and workshops and take additional classes, I want you to embrace the information that I'm going to give you right now, because it's going to change your life. We know that everything we do in our lives are driven by only two things. It's really simple. Life is very simple. The two things that drive everything that we do, our successes, our failures, our happinesses, our sadnesses, our frustrations, our elation, are driven by the thoughts that occupy our mind and the people that occupy our time. I want to talk to you today about the people that occupy your time. Because if you make the right decisions in your life about the people that occupy your time, I will guarantee that you will be successful. First, let me share this with you. Of all the people you know, and think about this, we probably know thousands of people that have affected our lives in one way or another. Now, some of them are very close to us, like our family members, the people that we go to school with, our closer friends. But then there's the whole other area around us of other people that we have relationships with. Out of those thousands and thousands of people that are in our lives now, that will be in our lives in the future, 27% of all of those people are losers. Now, it's important for you to recognize the losers in your life, because the losers have only one goal in their lives, and that is to get something for nothing. And as long as they're related to you in some way or another, their relationship is dependent on how much they can get from you without having to give you anything. They're selfish, they have a low level of energy, and they will do whatever they can to get something from you for nothing. Now, that 27%, the 27%ers, the losers, will give themselves away by the way they speak and behave. One of the things that they do is they handle mistakes in different ways than other people do. Losers basically never make a mistake. And why is that? Because losers don't make mistakes. It's always someone else's fault. And that's very typical of the loser. They will blame somebody else for their mistakes. They do not take responsibility for the things that they do wrong. And of course, by the same token, they'll take credit where credit is not due. They also have a low level of energy, and you can recognize the losers by the things that they say. That's the one that you come up to and you say, "Hey, Jack, how you doing today?" And Jack's response is, "Oh, man, I just feel miserable today. The weather's lousy. My car doesn't go right." And I'll bet you've got one or two people in your mind already that you know that are in your lives that are losers. Well, I'm going to give you permission to do something right now. I'm going to give you permission within the next 24 hours to get rid of one of those losers in your life. And here's how you do that. Don't call him back. Don't text him back. When he wants to get together, make an excuse. And the next thing you're going to find is he's going to go find somebody else to start sucking the life out of. Often we say, "Oh, so-and-so is going to be upset at me if I don't call him back or if I do this for him." Your job is not to save the losers in your life. Remember, their job is to get something from you for nothing. So get rid of them. Now I'll ask you to keep a running score and a running account of the percentages of all the people in your life. 27% of them are losers. 60% of all of those people, more than half of all the people in your life, their goal in life is to simply get by. They want to get through whatever they're doing right now. They want to get to the end of the day. They're the ones that are watching the clock. Oh my gosh, only 2 hours more and the day is over and I can go home. They can't wait till Friday because the week is over. It was a 60%er someplace who made up the expression, thank God it's Friday. They reached their goals, they got to the end of whatever they had to do, and they made it through. Now, we can recognize these people by a number of things as well. They're characterized by kind of a low level of energy. They don't have a great deal of energy and enthusiasm. They don't have to because you don't need a lot to just get by. In order to work with these kinds of people, we have to remember that since their goal is to simply get by, we have to ask them to do very simple things that are easily attainable, measurable, and definitely defined. Let me give you an example of how you might have to deal with one of the 60%ers in your life. And they'll be there whether they're members of your family, members of a team, members of a business organization, other people in class, anyone that you have to work with and come up with some sort of a performance and an achievement. I like to give the example if I were a basketball coach and I know that not every one of my players on my team is the best players and they're highly energized. I know I've got some 60%ers on there that simply want to get by. They're usually a little farther down the bench. So here's an example. I'm in a situation, the game is almost over, but I've got to get my best player off the floor because he is really tired. And I go down the bench to Joe and I say, Joe, listen, I need you to do something for me. I need you to you're going to take 30 seconds. I want you to go out there on the floor and I want you to terrorize number 23 for 30 seconds. Can you do that for me, Joey? And Joey says, yes, he can do that. And out he goes. Now I have to get Joey off the floor in 30 seconds because basically I know that's all he can handle. He can be responsible for 30 seconds for me. But that's why he's not a starter, because that's all he can give me. He becomes a real contributor to our basketball team if he can give me that 30 seconds. And our star has a chance to catch some breath and go back out and play really tough for the last couple of seconds of the game. So that's it. That's the way that you're going to spot the 60%ers and to be able to take advantage of the 60%ers in a positive way to help you achieve your goals. Okay, I know that when we're talking about the first 87% of the people in your lives, there's a tendency for that to be a little bit of a downer. So let's talk about the other people in your lives. The remaining 10% of those people, or of the remaining 13, 10% of those people in your lives, those are the winners. 1 out of every 10 persons in your life is a winner. And how can we tell a winner? Winners do certain things. Number one, winners win. Have you ever noticed that no matter what kind of an organization you're in, whether it was just playing on the playground with friends as a little kid, to going through high school and college, being a part of a group, a part of a class, there was always someone in there, a man or a woman, who no matter what the job was, that group was successful because they were there. One winner, one 10%er like that in a group can carry that group. And those are the people that you want to find yourself aligned with. Find the winners. Mimic what they do. Hang around them. Listen to them. And do the things that winners do. And then you become a winner yourself. Now, here's how you can identify the winners. Number one, they have a high level of energy. They outwork everybody else. They arrive at the job before everybody does, and they stay after. They keep going to improve themselves all the time, because what's their goal in life? To win. And they understand that they have to do extra things in their lives in order to win. You want to be around them. The winners make those around them better. They do it on purpose. They do it on purpose. Why? because if they make the people around them better, it increases their chance of winning within that organization. It's wonderful to be around them. And you can find your way to that level. Winners have that high level of energy. When they make a mistake, remember we talked about the losers? When they make a mistake, they blame somebody else. When winners make a mistake, they'll become a pest sometimes to ask those around them, how do I get better? What do I do to improve? What do I need not to do that again? Tell me. They're wonderful people to be around. Now finally, let's go to the last remaining number of all the people in your lives, and that's the 3% that's remaining. The 3%ers are the ultimate achievers. And you recognize the ultimate achiever by this one characteristic. And once again, it's about how do they deal with making mistakes. The 3%er, the ultimate achiever, when he or she makes a mistake, forgives themselves immediately for the mistake and goes on to correct it and improve it. Now, one of the great 3%ers of our in the history of our lives was Thomas Edison. Thomas Edison quoted one time, he said, you know, I've learned 1,001 ways not to make a light bulb. He made all those mistakes before he finally made a light bulb. And that's what that ultimate achiever does. We have to make a mistake. Take those risks. I've heard someplace where your lives can change demonstratively by taking one massive chance that takes about 20 seconds in your life. And if you miss it, forgive yourself immediately and move on, because there's another way to try things. So, in summary, let's talk about this. The 3%er at the very top of that pyramid, they're the problem seekers. They look for the difficulties in life. They're happiest when they find them, and then they work to solve the problems. The 10%ers are problem solvers. Those are the ones that everyone goes to. When you need help, they go to, and they're going to do it. And they're always too busy, but they make the time to solve problems for other people. 60%ers don't recognize problems all that well sometimes. And they kind of walk around and wonder, yeah, what problem? I don't see anything going wrong. And the losers, that 27%, those are the problems.